The perfect skin base is what I wanted to talk to you about, and just do a little video because I've had some updated training and the application techniques I think have made a massive difference to the way that you can create a perfect face base with our products, and I really wanted to show you that because I think it makes a huge difference. And as you can see, I've got no makeup on, and it's not how I like to present myself to the world. There are certain things I don't particularly like, and I'm going to show you how very quickly, easily, and with quite light products, we're not doing, you know, very heavy foundation, that it can just give a brighter, fresher skin. And that's all I'm talking about today. I'm just looking at the skin. So without further ado, the primer. Our primer has been to the Brits, it's been to the BAFTAs. It is now in the makeup artists sort of box. So I'm just going to show you, you need a tiny bit. If you've ever felt that your makeup has gone a bit claggy later on, you're probably using a little bit too much. You just need a tiny amount. Now, I'm actually going to warm it up. And the great thing about primer is it gives that blurring effect. It gives that evening effect, minimizing our little creases and wrinkles. I'm just going to take it down the center of my face, under my eyes. Can even put it over the lids, which is a great base for eye makeup later on. And then if I've got any left, and I'm just gonna press it into my cheeks. And it's a very light fine finish, and it feels lovely on the skin. So I particularly like it for that extra feeling. My skin's a little bit dry, and it just gives it that little bit more moisture. But if you've got a naturally oily skin, it's very light and you don't need much. It is lovely stuff. So next, I am going to top it up with a little bit of our concealer. Our concealer is great. It's really, really highly pigmented, and you're literally using a little bit on the back of your hand, like that. Now, the best way to do this is actually to use a little brush. So we've got a little fluffy brush there. This is actually in the House of Colour makeup kit brush tool set. Warm a little bit on the back of your hand. Now, this is good for just brightening, evening out that skin tone. And I am starting with in here, because that is where I am darkest. Now, it's also good for any hyperpigmentation, so I am particularly red around my nose, around here, and I stretch that out. And you don't need much. I'm also going to put it on a little bit of my thread veins, because I have little spider veins. Now, you can also just give yourself a little bit of an eye lift here. You're just taking that line and lifting it up. Now, I've hardly used any here, have I? I might just go slightly over these areas here. Now that's made quite a difference to my under eye, and particularly this kind of purpley area I get in here. and you're wanting to really match the shade. So if you need to come to me and get the right shade, then do, and I've particularly got some evenings coming up in June for that. So there's an opportunity to come around and have a play with that. Next up, the BB cream. Super lightweight. I'm using 1 pump. Now, everyone can use this. It comes in 3 shades, but it's colour adaptive. So this is the lightest. The next one down is really quite dark. So for most light skin tones, the light one is your best one to go for. And I've got 1 pump there. Now, we're going to use a brush to put it on. This is called a stippling brush. And the difference here is it's got a flat head, but it's also got brush lengths at different lengths of bristle. So some are long and some are a bit shorter. And it just gives a very light finish. So I'm just doing this. And what we're going to do is take it up to where that concealer has been. And it gives a very fine light finish. So you shouldn't see it. We want it to look airbrushed. We don't want it to be visible. If you find anything going claggy, then that's not how it should be, and it won't happen if you're using brush and just a minimal amount of primer. So I'm going to take it, feathered strokes all over. I'm just going to check in my little mirror here. That is so much better. Jeepers, that is so much better. Now, I am actually quite happy with that. I could quite happily now put my blusher on from here. I might even take any excess and just help to prime the eyelid. Now, you can use the BB on its own. You can use it even under foundation because it has a very light finish to it and a light texture. It's adding to that sort of primer sense of evening out any texture on your face. So it's smoothing. I don't really like a heavy finish during the day, so I'm going to use a little bit of our dual foundation, and I'm just going to use it to minimise any shiny areas. And the great thing about the dual foundation is you can make it heavier, but you can also just allow a bit of glow to come through, so we're not giving too much of a matte finish. And to do that, I'm going to use a slightly different brush, this one, and I'm literally going to just go over any areas, and I often find under my eye and a little bit on my nose. And actually, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not actually going to need too much more. And as you can see, my skin is looking an awful lot more even than it was. Tune in for my next one.